Welcome back to Safe Fitness Training. I want to talk about one of these important strength training principles that I think is overlooked by a lot of people in the fitness industry. And the reason why is because I just don't think that most individuals truly understand the most recent discoveries in the benefits of strength training and what it can do for us. So I want to separate exercise and activities and recreation from each other in a very different way that looks at this, well, from a more scientific perspective. And what we're talking about here is that I believe exercise should be that one stimulus that creates the most absolute positive physiological changes in our bodies possible. That's what I really truly feel like. And everything else can be separated into activities and recreation. And why do I say that? Well, if there's a misinterpretation in what someone may think of as exercise, then they could be doing something consistently, almost like gruelingly, being forced into it, like, oh, I got to go out and jog again. You know, if people don't enjoy jogging, then heck, don't do it, because I don't truly believe that that's exercise. If you enjoy it, then it's an activity and it's a recreational thing that you actually like. But I want to tell you why I believe that strength training is the only exercise. And that's because it's the only thing that promotes life extension on a mass scale. And what I'm saying here is that strength training is what's responsible. Strength training is what's responsible for all of those incredible health benefits that I've talked about before in other videos, but increased endurance, increased strength, increased ability, balance, increased cardiovascular efficiency. I mean, we're talking about making bones stronger, starting the self-destruction cycle in cancer cells, basically coating the organs with protection. We're also talking about lowering cholesterol and blood pressure. All of those things, that comes from strength training. Separating these things out, I just look at strength training as exercise. That's it. And when I say strength training, I even mean it differently. I mean in a safe manner, loaded on our muscles in such a way to where we receive the maximum stimulus, which is full muscle fatigue. And I actually made a whole video on that. I'll probably continue to talk about it, but I'm going to put that link down below. And then there's probably a tab in the top corner as well. But this old article that was written by Hutchins, he basically separated out exercise and recreation in 5 different ways to tell what you're doing. What is exercise, what is recreation. I think the biggest one is that exercise is logical. And what we're talking about here is that every human's joints move in such a way where if I was to load weights upon my feet and push upward like that, in a leg extension, well, I'm working my quadriceps right there. Everyone also has that same experience when they use that leg extension. That's what I mean. Everybody can strengthen their muscles in such a way by using that one exercise. But recreation, activities, those are very instinctive. They're things that come natural, like jogging, an activity that would be the way our body moves to propel ourselves forward, which is very different than exercise in that sense. Another key factor that Hutchins said is that exercise principles are universal, and that's kind of the same idea as exercise being logical in a sense, because everybody, like I said, has the exact same quadriceps that they can to work. So we can apply that stimulus in the same way for every person and expect a very similar result just across the board, where recreation and activities, those are personal, to the person, and they don't really cross over, so to speak, into much else. I enjoy paddleboarding, and that's probably what I'm going to do as soon as I finish making this video. Someone else might enjoy something very different, like playing golf. I like golf too. I'm just so bad at it. Third point Hutchins makes is that exercise transfers into the recreation and the activities that you enjoy doing. So what I mean to say is that when you strengthen your muscles with strength training exercise, what that does is it makes you better at all of the things that you enjoy doing. third key point in difference between exercise and recreation is that exercise transfers into activities. So, every single time I'm strengthening my ability to do absolutely everything I enjoy, whether it's skateboarding or surfing or anything like that. Everything benefits from that strength training exercise. But if I was to go out and do something like jogging, that kind of activity would actually only be good for other activities that include that running. So maybe it would make you better at soccer if you were able to improve your ability to breathe on a deeper level, your VO2 max, those kinds of things. Where exercise transfers to all activities don't always transfer into others and into recreation as well. So it's very specific. The fourth key difference is that the purpose of exercise is actually physical. It's to improve your physical ability, to enjoy your physical ability even more. But recreation, it really is more of a mental thing. You're enjoying that on an emotional or mental level, or both of those things, just because you're enjoying doing that. That's why I want to be clear. Like, if we don't define activities and exercise in a very clear manner and separate those out, we could be stuck doing some activities that we really don't enjoy and that we think are exercise, and we've been wasting our time, truly. So that's important, and specifically because of that fifth key point that Ken Hutchins also said, and that's that exercise actually isn't fun, right? When we're doing exercise, we're loading the muscles in an intense way. We get to that full muscle fatigue where we can't push any further to stimulate all of those incredible health benefits that I mentioned. That's not fun. I'm just being honest. It really isn't. But recreation is, and I guess that's my point here at the end. And I say at the end, that's my point here, is to tell you that don't waste your time doing activities because you think they're changing your life in a positive manner. Do activities that are recreation, that are fun for you, right? So if you hate jogging and you're doing it because you think you're getting something out of it, there's no reason to continue. That's absolutely it. Strength training is the key to life extension, a longer life in every way. So I want the takeaway here to be that strength training is the only exercise, in the sense that it is the only thing that's going to create all of those physiological changes that can and will change your life if you utilize this twice a week. Truly, that is the only thing that's going to do that. Activities won't do that. Recreation won't do that. But strength training will. And that's why strength training is life extension. Exercise needs to be life extension, and it is. And that is absolutely why we define exercise the way that we do. The last presentation that I saw Dr. Doug McGuff give, he talked about something that kind of blew my mind. I'm going to leave the link to that down below as well, and I'll probably make a whole video on this. But there was this study, and I actually looked it up. That's what I'm going to post below. And it was by Dr. Simon Meltov. And there are 596 genes that apparently are associated with aging. And so he found out that 179 of these, they returned to a much more youthful state. Literal gene expressions changed and became biologically younger, essentially, with only 6 months of strength training. And that's something, and Dr. McGuff said it well, that's something that should have got uproarious applause from the world. And it's mind-blowing to think that no one really wrote any articles on this. And he even mentions, he says, one of the oldest stories of man was the Epic of Gilgamesh, and it was the search for the fountain of youth. And then essentially, when we find that, this was about 10 years ago, 5 years from when Doug gave this speech, so 10 years ago today almost, that this study was put out, I believe. And no one wrote any articles about it. We praise bacteria, finding bacteria on Mars at such a high degree as if that's something so important. Meanwhile, here on Earth, if we just start doing strength training, we can add 6 years to our life and literally change our gene expression to a much more youthful state. So if you haven't gotten started doing some sort of strength training, please start something. Just twice a week can absolutely change your life in the most positive ways. In fact, I just have 5 exercises that I posted here. That is the best place to get started doing those. You won't need any weights. You could actually just do this workout right now. That video is down below as well. I hope to see you on the next video, and I'm going to get off my soapbox. This is important to me, and I hope that you understand how important it is to you, because we're talking about living longer. That's absolutely it. Have a great day. I'll see you on the next video.